Hey YouTube, just taking some time to get outside, touch some grass, as the kids say. My grass is kind of brown right now, mostly. What are you gonna do? This set of videos coming up is pretty self-explanatory. It's coming from a podcast called On Tolerance. Touches on a lot of political issues. Not much to have to set up there, but as I was going through them, and they're talking about issues with media and modern problems of communication and tolerance and understanding, I thought of something that I thought it was worth sharing, something I realized fairly recently, but it seems relevant to this. What are fact checkers? I don't think we realize fully how much of an Orwellian term this is. And yes, that's cliche at this point. We're in the Orwell age. You know, I actually read 1984 for the first time a couple years ago, and then right after that, I read Brave New World. And, well, that was an experience. But fact checkers, right? Well, we have problems with media, communication, understanding, knowing the right facts, correct facts from the alternative facts. So we've got our fact checkers, right? Well, that's been going on for years now, and that just seemed normal. Fact checkers, they're trying that. I mean, I didn't give them any great credence, but, it was a thing, seemed to make sense. We need our fact checkers. But then I thought about it, and I was like, hold on a second. What is a fact checker? What does a fact checker do? Well, they look into things, and they tell you what the facts are. Obviously, fact checker, they check the facts. So they look into stuff, and then they report back to you what they found to be the facts. They report back to you. So they're reporters. You see, that's what reporters were always supposed to do. That's the whole point of being a reporter. You go look into the thing, you tell people what you found about the thing. And this is really funny, but it's also, I think it is kind of terrifying. It really is that Orwellian language play of like, whoa, we've got the fact checkers now. No, we just hired more reporters. The reporters are like, the problem was with reporters, right? We have an issue, whoever you agree with, we have an issue of communication through reporters and getting a unified understanding. So how is the solution to that just to hire more reporters? Or even worse, how is the solution to that to get like government sponsored reporters to solve the issue of reporters not being trustworthy? How are we sold? How is anyone sold on that? And it's so transparent once you realize that. Like, fact checker is nothing. Fact checker is not a thing. They're just reporters. And we have a problem trusting reporters. And so their solution that they marketed was, well, now we've got fact checkers. You just changed the name and pretended that was going to solve the issue, but the issue was with the same. You supplied the same thing that there was already a problem with. You just called it by a different name. And it took me a while to realize the obviousness of that. Obviously, many people didn't just go out and trust the fact checkers. Some people did, but probably the same people who trusted, whatever, favored reporter. But, you know, there's these deep issues, and they require, well, I think some of them just can't be fixed, but they require delicacy and intricacy and care and attention. And we're like, well, but then we're just like, oh, we'll fix them by just giving a new name to the same position that people already have a problem with. And that was supposed to be something significant. I mean, that to me is Orwellian. That to me is, by manipulating language, you create the appearance that you're solving a problem, that you're doing something significant, but you don't do anything. Maybe that's not even Orwellian. Maybe that's just political. Maybe that's just politics or media, right? Just change the language. Make the language do most of the work to seem like you're doing the work, but just do the same old thing. Nothing gets solved. Nothing gets addressed. Anyhow, I thought that was significant. I thought that was relevant. That might help people turn a light bulb on a few places, and I think it's relevant to the videos coming out, and it sort of will mesh with them well. So thanks for watching. Hopefully that was interesting, helpful. Maybe we can stop using the term fact checkers, just call them reporters, government sponsored reporters in some cases. Hey, take a poke around on the channel. Stay tuned for the modern media madness videos coming up. Talks about tolerance, how it works, what are its extents. Do we have to tolerate the intolerant? How much? All that sort of stuff. Leave a like on the videos, leave a comment, what you found interesting, what you weren't sold on, what you disagree with, what you'd like to hear more about. It all helps. Give it a share if you would. It's very helpful. Someone who is interested in the same sort of things. Again, this week's video is politics, so that has a broader appeal. I'm hoping these will go farther, do well. But all those things support the channel, and I appreciate it. Appreciate those of you watching, and God bless. I'll talk to you again.